You can choose whether you have locked your meeting, which means that nobody else can join. You can enable or disable the waiting room. So when enable waiting room is checked, you will have to individually admit people in. I think there's an option for you to admit everybody who's waiting. We didn't have that happening today. I probably should have just let you guys all be in the waiting room and do that, but oh well. And then you can also, there's this allow participants to, and it's screen share, chat, rename themselves, and unmute themselves. So if you're doing like a lecture type thing and you don't want students having a back channel chat, you can disable the chat and then enable it later. So you can choose at different times whether you want people to be able to screen share, chat, and unmute themselves, just depending on what you're doing. When you are, yeah, so let me just try that. So if you guys are over in the, if you click on the chat, if I click on and unclick the chat, it just goes away. Yeah. So if you don't want, now there may be times when you want the students to be able to, but keep in mind a lot of those things are like, I have a question, like kind of cueing you if you're in this part and you just don't want the back channel happening. There's times when you might want that, but then maybe you just don't. Like, I don't necessarily need to be watching that while I'm doing something. Like if I'm just doing a lesson and recording it so that way I'm going to post it later, I don't necessarily, like students might just like, if they want to indicate that I need to go faster or slow down, remember that underneath the participants menu, there's those options. So they don't need to do that inside chat. Like they can do thumbs up, thumbs down, they can clap, they can put a coffee up if they need a break. They can do the away symbol if they're away, and that will show you in that participants menu. So if you haven't played around with that participants menu, when you click on participants down at the bottom, so like if I click on if I just ask you a question and say, can you just give me a thumbs up if you had the audio, you know, then there is the ability to give that feedback. You can also, you know, they can also change it to go faster or slow down, or like if the students have trouble, you can just be like, no, like I need help, I have a question, something along those lines. You can just individually as a teacher probably assign a meaning to the different emoji. And then if you have that up on the side, then you'll get that kind of nonverbal feedback that a lot of times we use the chat for. There just wasn't really a way. I mean, the nod extension did it, but there just wasn't necessarily a way to do it. So you can go in and then I can clear all of those and say, okay, you know, if I'm asking a question and I just want some thumbs up, thumbs down feedback, I can clear it out and then have them do it again. So they don't necessarily need the chat to give you feedback. So depending on the age group, depending on the maturity, yeah, that may just be something that people don't want. You as the host can go in and rename people. So if I wanted to change, if I just wanted to rename Eve and I just wanted to have her first name on there, I can just go in and I can change that. Again, with the participants, you can, as the host, you can mute people if you need to, or you can choose to mute all. And I think that's where it comes into play of if you don't want them to unmute themselves, you can just say they don't have the option to, and then you can unmute them because they can raise their hand. So that might be more important for some of the littles. Some reactions. Okay, so when you go to the breakout rooms, you can choose whether you want it to assign participants. You can choose the number of rooms. So I'm just going to put us into 2 rooms for this part. You can assign it automatically or you can assign it manually. There's also a way that if you go onto the Zoom website, you can actually upload a spreadsheet that already has the participants' names in there. and the rooms you want them to go into. So if you know what groups the students are going to be in, then you can already have that set up. So I'm going to create the rooms. And then, so it shows up with room 1, room 2. And then when I click on assign, I can choose who I want to go in there. So if I wanted Eve and Liz to go into room 1, and then Rebecca and Stacia to go into room 2, I'm just checking next to it. It takes people off of the list once you check them. You can add a room from there. You can say move all participants into, there's some different options for moving participants into the breakout rooms automatically, or allow them to return, like allow participants to return to the main session at any time. So you can make it so they stay in those rooms until you bring them back, or they can just come back when they're done. You can say the breakout rooms automatically close after, and I could say like, I just want them to chat for 5 minutes. So 5 minutes, and then there will be a countdown after closing the breakout room. I'm going to open the rooms. And there should be, move to. Oh, hi. So there's a spot for me on the screen that says join. And then, so I joined this one. Okay, I'm going to leave it. Leave breakout room. Hi. So now I can say, I can broadcast a message that says, let's all go back to the main Zoom. And there should be a message that got broadcast. Okay. And then, so when you go down to, you should be able to click leave room and go back to, so make sure you leave the breakout room, not the meeting. Okay, so now I clicked close the rooms, and so it does a minute countdown. So I can't like bring them back right away. So it's giving them like the minute. But they should have gotten the broadcast message also. Okay, and now we should have everybody back. Okay, good stuff. Okay, note that it mutes you when you go from one to another. So I was talking in the other room, muted, no idea. So sorry about that. There we go. Breakout room is ending in 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the room. Yay! Okay, you're welcome. Bye.